Hi guys, Olive here today to discuss with you what is on my February 2018 TBR. I had a really great reading month in January. I read a ton of books, and I'm very excited to tell you about them in my next video, which will be my January wrap-up. I am not entirely sure I'm going to be able to keep up the same momentum in February, but I am certainly going to try. So here are all the books that I'm going to attempt to read in February. The first book on the agenda is a nonfiction pick called Animals Strike Curious Poses by Elena Passarello. This is a collection of essays about real-life animals that, for whatever reason, achieved fame during their lifetime. Modeled loosely after a medieval bestiary, these witty, playful, whip-smart essays traverse history, myth, science, and more, bringing each beast vibrantly to life. Not only does that sound fabulous, but Helen MacDonald, author of H is for Hawk, one of my favorite nonfiction books of all time, has spoken so highly of this book. Ever since I heard her start talking about this book, I knew I had to buy it, which I did, and then I knew I had to read it, which I'm going to. And then for my classics TBR for 2018, I'm planning to read The Age of Innocence by Edith Wharton. I will be buddy reading this one with Britta. Since joining BookTube, I have heard so many people say wonderful things about Edith Wharton, so I've been itching to get to one of her books, so I will be very eager to pick this one up. Next on my TBR, I have another piece of nonfiction called In the Restaurant Society in 4 Courses by Christoph Ribat. Not too long ago, I won this book off of an Instagram giveaway that was hosted by the publisher of this book, Pushkin Press, and I've been really hyped to read it ever since. This is a history of the restaurant, how that idea first developed and the different forms that it has taken over the centuries. Given that I am a foodie as well as a general yuppie, this definitely appeals to me. And then bouncing back to fiction again, I also plan to read The River of No Return by B. Ridgway. This is a work of fantasy in which we follow a secret guild of time travelers, which sounds so much fun. But I have seen on BookTube over the years that people tend to either love or hate this book. So I will be interested to read it for myself and see where my feelings land on this one. Off of my young professional TBR, I am planning to read Mistakes I Made at Work, edited by Jessica Bacall. This is a collection of essays in which influential women talk about the different mistakes they've made in the workplace and the lessons they've learned from making those mistakes. As I said in my young professional TBR video, this is probably the one that I'm looking forward to the most of all the books on that list. Another book that I'm planning to pick up in February that I currently have on NetGalley is Red Clocks by Lainey Zumas. This is a very talked about book at the moment, since it is set in a world where abortion and in vitro fertilization have been outlawed. I believe in the book that we follow 5 different women and see their stories and the ways in which they are affected by these laws. Emily from Possibly Literate just gave this book a fantastic review on her channel. She definitely tipped me over the edge of wanting to pick this book up sooner rather than later. And I am also planning on picking up St. Petersburg Madness, Murder, and Art on the Banks of the Neva by Jonathan Miles. This is a new nonfiction book on St. Petersburg that is due to be published next month. I am hoping to read it over the course of February and then hopefully give it a review on or around the publication date. It's going to be a little bit of a special review because in that video I'm also planning to discuss my study abroad experience in St. Petersburg and maybe even show you guys some pictures of my trip to St. Petersburg. I've never really had a good opportunity to sit down and talk about my amazing study abroad experience, so I thought this would give me a great excuse to review this new release and talk to you guys about my trip. Now, normally this would be the part of the TBR video where I select the random pick off of my TBR to read for the month. However, I have something special planned for my random selection this month. I'm not going to say what that is just yet. I would like to keep that a surprise. But rest assured, there will be a random pick for this month and there will be a special video dedicated to it. So those were all of the books that I'm planning to read in February. If you've read any of these books, if you've heard about them, or if you want to read them now that you've heard me talk about them, I'd love to hear from you in the comment section below. Or if you'd like to chat somewhere other than YouTube, I am on a variety of different places on social media, and the links to all of my profiles are linked in the description box below. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're having a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.